Alright, back in familiar stomping ground here. When I was playing with the Peters a long time ago, we had these facilities. Remember the club across the road? The old boys were playing poker on a Sunday night, and the pitch, Lurgan Salic took it over after a while. But things have progressed in St. Peters unbelievably so since then, with a hard-working chairman and all his committee. There's so much here to look forward to. But this minute in time, they're looking forward to next Sunday week, which is the Intermediate Championship final against Mullaball, who they beat handsomely down here. But I think all the boys here know things are a lot different next Sunday when Mullaball are going to be on firing all cylinders. But St. Peters are ready for it. We've left the players and the manager to another day, hopefully get to speak to them after the match, maybe for a win. We'll have here on our right hand side with Martin Lavery, chairman of the social end of things, with Paul Lavery here, the football committee chairman, and Jimmy McGee, who's another stalwart of St. Peters. And Jimmy will tell you his title very, very soon. I'm not sure what it is, but he does a lot of work for the club. Paul Lavery, first of all. Paul, over the years you have a lot of stuff going for you here. You're moving forward. What does it mean to St. Peters committee, the supporters, the members, and the community that's going to happen next Sunday in the athletic grounds? What does it mean to you all?
I can't put it into words, what it means. I'll give you for an instance. I went up to North Street yesterday to do a message. Should have took 2 minutes. It took me 20 minutes to get from one end of North Street to the other. People stopping you with a buzz in them, asking about the football team, asking about the club, asking how things are going. Do you need anything? The community spirit is brought, and the good feeling is brought into this club. It's immense. It's great, so it is.
Good. There's apprehension around the area, Martin. But everybody can feel it. Has there been any feedback, when Paul has said about from other clubs, has been feedback from your committee and everything else? What's the young people saying? I mean, what's happening out there with the youth?
Unreal. Eugene, I have to say, the youth's bought into this here. They know what it is. We've won the league. We won it. Now we're going for a double. And it's unprecedented for the St. Peters. So hopefully we'll follow through. And get to enjoy it.
That's it. Any preparations, anything different, or obviously you're going to leave out to the managers and the players, but socially around the club, are you doing anything different as far as fans are concerned, buses are concerned?
Everything. Everything's going to be done.
A lot of work in that.
Yeah.
As I said, I probably get on Saturday because we've been involved in it with the executive. There's buses on, there's functions organised. We've been constantly flat out. Everybody's banned, as Martin said. Social, the football, executive, everybody's banned in it, everybody's doing their own bit. People are making bunting, people are making flags.
Brilliant.
And kids and all, the atmosphere is great. So a lot of work going on.
Just without in the detail of the game itself, Paul, what would you say about the management team, Ron McAlitten and his backroom staff? They've done a fantastic job. They had a difficult end of the league, in fairness to them, because they had to put out all the stops, so they go away to Cullaville to win the last game. So it's been difficult for them, but they've come through it.
Yeah, it's been a hard year. It has been a hard fought. It was a hard fought league campaign. There was no time was it easy, and we only won it in the last game on the last day. So the management team have put a lot of time. They've been going from January, the first week in January. They've been going 3 nights a week in the cold, in the winter, in the rain, and snow, and they have put a lot of time and effort. Ronan and his backroom staff, and they're leaving no stone unturned to make sure that everything, all the preparations done, everybody's ready for Sunday.
Excellent. Jimmy, tell us a bit about your role. You're the quiet man of the party, so you look after a lot of stuff administration-wise for the club. And where have you been, and where are you going to at this minute in time?
In terms of my role, I'm just one cog in a large wheel at this club, where you've got quite a number of people working behind the scenes along with myself. But specifically my role is around governance, making sure that the policies and procedures of the club, making sure that the strategic direction of the club is where it should be. And given where we were, if you go back to 68 when we won the double, you go back to 81 when we won the double, we were in a very different place. The facilities were not what they are now. So we have got a community hub that is the envy of most clubs, certainly in the county, if not in Ulster. And that's down to the hard work of both the executive and all of the committees, members, sponsors, officials of the club, as well as the wider community.
And moving forward, Jimmy, is there going to be a new stand out there? What are you doing as far as that's concerned?
Well, we haven't drawn breath really from 2008. 2010 we opened the community sports hall. Then we moved on to the facilities that you see here, where we refurbished the social club, the kitchen, the bar. We brought up to hotel standard. We also then put a 3G in, and that was opened in June 2014. From that, and this was all through effort from members and so forth. The new boxing hall with Phoenix, that was opened in 2016. And the new stand will open, all being well, in November this year.
Excellent. Yeah. Just to say to Paul, for example, you know, how difficult is it, Paul, to keep focus on football? There's so much going on socially, development-wise. I mean, I know it's a matter for the managers, but some clubs can maybe run themselves into that sort of corner by looking at all these things. St. Peters have seemed to have run the social end, the development, and the football together. You know, obviously you need to keep that football end focus as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, but I think it's easy to focus on your particular direction. But when you've got people who are working as hard as all the members and the committees and the various volunteers within the club, it makes it easier, because you know that if we can, as Martin always says at the AGM, he always says, if we do everything together, there's nothing we can't achieve, and there's no goal that we set that we can't achieve, because you know, somebody say, I'll make the tea, I come up and make the tea, you boys can do the work, and every Jimmy said about the cog in the wheel, every little bit of it helps. And it makes any hard make light work, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Martin, you might have a more difficult task than the managers, getting the club ready and getting everything organised, people coming back after. You know, you're going to have a lot of work basically between now and Sunday week.
Already started, Eugene.
Already started.
And it's already, the bar manager there, second to none, and he's organised this end of it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be celebration one way or the other.
Yeah.
I said, if we're beat, we're beat.
Yeah.
You know, but we're expecting to win.
You're not
you
looking
know,
at that at the minute.
You know, but at the minute,
Yeah.
everything's in place.
Yeah.
Good team behind us.
Excellent.
You know, so.
I had said to John and Kevin earlier about how much St. Peters have changed these last 30 or 40 years. They're a very, very modern club, but back at the Jimmy as well. What would Martin or Paul, you say initially, first of all, about the youth coaches and I mean the ladies teams and all that? You know, they seem to be doing a huge amount of work as well.
Well, I put a few words in the programme about the present team. You know, I'll focus on them because it's their day after all. But all of them lads, all 38 of them, whatever it is, all started at under 8 with the late Sean McGowan, God rest him. And they all started on a Sunday morning over there in Grattan Park. Come wind or rain or sun or shine, they were there, and they've all come up through the ranks, and that started, and that process hasn't followed through. You know, Sean started it, and then other people came in and moved it on, and now we have, you know, there's coaches at every level, and they're qualified coaches, and from the now they've under 6s, under 8s, under 10s, 12s, boys and girls, right through the senior, and it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure. When you see what we had over there, you look back, you know, with hut, that's what we had, with a wooden hut.
Yeah, no.
And that was Grattan Park, and that was nothing else. But look at what we have now, you know.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. You know.
Fantastic. It's difficult too for the town. You have 4 teams in the one area. So I said to John earlier and Kevin as well that when I was living in Free Crow, you had all the streets, Kilmaine Street, Grattan Street, are all basically bred out.
Yeah.
And now you had to go to the catchment areas. Was that a policy? I know John mentioned earlier, was that a policy to go out and bring people in who maybe the mother and fathers weren't from the club, but let's be part of it?
I think what it was that, as you said, people moved out to these catchment areas, and then they were bringing people who what you would call Free Crow people. They were bringing their kids back.
Yeah.
So then their neighbours and all, and then it makes sense. You have to go out, you know. And there's no target area in the town anymore because, you know, a person can move out of Free Crow or not bar, and they live in Tignavan, but they send their children, their boys and girls down here with a coach and
It's
play
important to be
football.
open and welcoming for everybody.
For everybody, anybody, you know.
Yeah.
It's anybody, you know. We're happy to take them and coach
Excellent.
them, bring them
Excellent.
forward. Yep.
Jimmy, if you win the championship, obviously you've still a job to do. Are you expecting to stand still, or what do you see moving forward? Are you going to keep things moving on into the future? Is there any other plans that you can't maybe talk about, but I mean, you're going to maybe see what's happening further down the line somewhere?
Yeah, we developed our first strategic plan about 12 years ago, and that set the strategic direction for the club for the 5 years from that. Then we developed a further strategic plan, and we've now just released the first draft of our next one. So the motto of this club is we're very proud of our traditions, but we're a modern, if you like, future-looking club. And we have plans for the future, but those have to be put. We're also a very democratic club, and then we want to share that strategic, that draft plan with the members of the club, with the committees of the club, and once they endorse it, then we'll release it to the general public. And that's the way we do things.
Excellent.
You know, so I think we're very hopeful,
Yeah.
not just of what's around the corner in a week and a bit's time,
Yeah.
but the future.
Come on, moving forward.
Yeah.
You have Stephen Hockey and Will Stevens fronting the Phoenix Boxing Club next door. Jimmy, could you tell us just a wee bit about that before we wrap up, how that came about?
Well, there's always been a tradition and a relationship between boxing at St.Peters Club. If you go back to the late Eamon Derby, God rest him, and he brought national titles to this club. So when Phoenix first approached us a number of years ago, and all we had was the remnants of an old youth club, a hut, we agreed then, the committees agreed that Phoenix could use it, and they used it free of charge, and that's the relationship. And then when the opportunity came for some funding through National Lottery, we worked with Phoenix, with Sport NI, with the club, and through that there we managed to secure 374,000, you know, so, and that's what we have now. And they're in as tenants, but that building is owned by this club, and long may that partnership between St. Peters Club and Phoenix continue.
Excellent. Well, next Sunday week, St. Peters are going for the historic double. They've had a tough season. They've come through it. They had a tough end of the league campaign, but they showed the character with their manager and everything else. So maybe a Portadown Iron man can bring a wee bit of success to St. Peters. Nobody will complain about that.
The help and grace of God.
You know, but at this minute in
Come
time,
anywhere.
they're looking after the football. These boys are looking after the club and the semantics behind all that, and they're doing really well. So wish them all the best on Sunday week in the athletic grounds. It's going to be no easy task. Mullabon were well beaten down here in the league. We all remember that, but they're a different animal this time, so it's going to take a lot to get them over the line. So we don't want to make any predictions, but are you hopeful?
Big time.
Big time.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Hopeful is the word.
Hopeful is the buzzword at the minute.
Yeah.
And the whole community be behind St. Peters. Mahary were beaten last week on the Wolf Toes in the Championship, so they're so representative of North Armagh, but they're not worrying too much about that. That's not a burden they're worrying about, but I think come back and bring the cup back, all the better, and the club here will be buzzing next Sunday night week. But apart from that, if they're beat, I think as Martin said earlier, they have a lot to look forward to. You have a lot of good youth teams. They've got to work behind the scenes, and the club's moving in the right direction, so I wish them all well, and just have a final say from the chairman, Paul Lowry. Paul, what would you say to the supporters who are going up next Sunday?
Go up and support your team and make it a special day for everyone. Make it a special day for the kids, make it a special day for you and your families, and hopefully, with a wee bit of luck, we'll win the championship.